Absolutely mind-boggling. Absolutely, positively, 100% mind-boggling. Just when I think, okay, I've got it. I've got a grasp. I've got a understanding of what. Not even close. Not even close. This is war. Mrs. L and I were here on 9/11. 9/11 was a cakewalk compared to this. Granted, there were people who lost loved ones. Don't get me wrong, but it was downtown. It was, office. I can't speak for Washington. I can't speak for, Shanksville, but I can tell you here, it was more of a collective kind of a, wow, this is weird. But things just kind of picked up very, very quickly. Subways picked up, traffic picked up, stores. Things were working faster than possible. People just didn't, leave and never came back or wiped out. It was very specific. Not trying to undermine it. Please don't think that. What we're seeing here in California is like nothing anybody has seen. I think people in North Carolina and Florida and other places would beg to differ by virtue of the horrors they've been through. I'm sure they would. I'm sure they absolutely, positively would agree. Vis-a-vis, there are people who walked away who lost everything. There were people who, I know nobody cares about this, but during the Bernie Madoff thing, who lost everything, just everything. So there are these people out there who suffer incomprehensible loss. But this is different. So sit back. We're going to give you up to date, but also not teach you, it sounds so presumptuous, to show you how to think differently. Now, first, my friends, I've asked you and I've said thank you so much for subscribing. Subscribing it changes everything. I don't know how they do this or why, but we, and I'm not the only ones, have suffered swaths of huge, just numbers of people just gone in one moment. And I'm thinking, I don't think they're all deciding to leave now. So I ask you, if you have not subscribed to Lionel Nation, please do. 87% of the people who watch don't subscribe. It means everything. It puts us into a realm where more people watch and we are suggested and liking this. So I don't want to start off by telling you. I want to start off by thanking you. Thanking you for this. Now, before we begin, let me tell you to sit back, get ready, because we're going to talk about disasters, but the mentality of disaster and what we are seeing and what you are being acclimated to. But first, my friends, this important message. Have you ever wondered what happened to the legendary Chuck Norris? I recently saw a video he made, and I was shocked. He's in his 80s and still kicking proverbial butt and working out and staying active. And what's even more shocking is he's stronger, can work out longer, and even has plenty of energy left for his grandkids. Now, he did this by just making one change. He says he still feels like he's in his 50s, and his wife even started doing the one thing too, and she's never felt better. She says she feels 10 years younger. Her body looks leaner, and she has energy all day. Chuck made a special video that explains everything. And make sure you watch it by going to chuckdefense.com/Lionel or by clicking on the link below this video. It will change the way you think about your health. And once again, that's chuckdefense.com/Lionel. Click on the link in the description below to watch the video now. And you won't believe how simple it is. And just a reminder, the legendary Chuck Norris is a whopping 84 years old and yet has more energy than he ever has. He discovered he could create dramatic changes to his health simply focusing on 3 things that sabotage. Oh, my gosh. My gosh. What did I do? What did I do? Praise God. You know what I'm going to do? I think I sabotaged that. I think I wasn't done. I'm going to run one of these again because I've got to make sure that we do this the right way. We're going to run this again in any event. My friends, I don't even know where to begin. I don't even know where to go. I don't know how. Like I said, I've been so overwhelmed with what's happening today. Let me talk to you about this thing called emergencies. And this is something that might be a better time for us right now to do it probably than any other time. And this is critical. When somebody goes through shock, when somebody goes through absolute, overwhelming devastation, it is something that I'm fascinated by. You've heard about the 1,000-yard stare. I've seen people before who were victims of abuse, children traumatized is the most interesting, because if you've ever seen this before, and I hope you never do, when a child is playing with something, and the experts will talk of this, and you say, and you're watching like from a two-way mirror, they don't know this, and you say, did something bad happen to mommy? Yeah. And it's internalizing, you're spinning. Did daddy do something bad to mommy? Yeah. And it looks like, but the child is so little, it doesn't know how to process. Doesn't know how to, it can't figure, it doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense for an adult, doesn't make any sense for me. So it'll take something like a doll or something, and it'll pretend, or toy, and it'll just pretend to almost say, this is what I used to do before my brain is on fire. And I've seen this before. It's the most incredible thing. It's that's what we're going through right now. Imagine you are not only, it's not like, oh, there was a fire. Okay, there was a fire. Fires happen. Sometimes people will come home and they've lost everything. You've heard this. But imagine you're seeing fires in this, I hate to say it, dystopian hellscape. This horror. Inconceivable horror. And you don't know how to even, you're reds and smells and people and terrified and neighbors and national and thoughts and prayers and anger and DEI and Gavin Newsom and this Bass and this incompetence. These people, ladies and gentlemen, unless and until you see people in prison for incompetence that cost people's lives, not civil, like, well, we'll vote them out of office. No. Unless and until you see these people behind bars. You have the mayor of Los Angeles, who is an avowed Marxist, a Castro acolyte, who believes in not only, put it this way, if you're a Marxist, you don't say, well, I'm a Marxist, which she obviously is, and I realize it's never going to happen here, but I'm studying it almost like from an academic point of view. No, you want it to happen here. What do you think? Let me ask you something. What do you think this Marxist, and to be a full-blown, legit, Castro-loving Marxist you have to be antagonistic towards the United States. You can't say, I love Castro, who, and he might have a good reason, an avowed enemy of our country. You can't say, I love the socialist Marxist Castro version of it. No. And then come back and say, now I want to work and commingle in a world that is inconsistent with that. How do you do that? These people are so stupid, they actually thought a Marxist was kind of cool. Now, I know one Marxist for sure, and I always ask them, what do you think? Do you study this just as it's like if I'm a bimetallist, I'm an Aristotelian. Oh, okay. What do you think when you talk about, you constantly say, Marxism is this, Marxism is that? Fine. And we are clearly not a Marxist society. And Marxism has some good points in terms of class, equality, whatever. But we're not Marxist. What do you expect people to do? So how does this work? How does this work? I don't understand this. But they voted for him. Now let me ask you something right now. And I want you to listen to me. And I know this is so important because nobody really wants to talk about this, but we are going to talk about this. We're going to talk about this right now. And I want you to listen to this thing very, very carefully. Okay? Because we have to talk about, just like self-defense. We can talk about that if you'd like. I know people who are great at guns. They can't tell you when to shoot, what do you shoot, the legal aspects of it. They really don't know. But they're very good at this notion of, they're very good at this notion of, let me go back to this. That's not it. That's it. They're really good at this idea of guns, but they can't tell you when. Now, here's my question. And this is why I prepare with Lionel makes the most sense. Do you right now, irrespective of where do you live, do you have water filtration systems for clean drinking water now that can last 30 days? No. Don't feel bad. 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 Karen Peterson, the lovely and talented Karen Peterson, says, thinking this day that if these fires show up all over the country, it would be death by 1,000 cuts to our society. Oh, yes. There is nothing, Karen, that you could think that in any way would be beyond this. Let me ask you, do you have water filtration systems that can handle this? No water, you've got water. What happens if you're there for whatever reason? There's no stores, there's no that you got a hose with it. Do you have that? Do you have or have you stockpiled emergency food supplies for every family member? I have this friend, he says, well, we're ready to go if really. Yes, his idea is cash and a bag. Okay, where are you going? I don't know, but his whole thing is cash. All right, you're going to leave your home? Really? When they loot your home, what happens then? Because they're looting homes. And what about your pets? See, you're not supposed to think about this stuff. Do you have food supplies for every member of the family? Let's say you don't leave, but you're there. Do you have weather-specific stuff, such as rain gear or thermal blankets and sandbags for flood protection? People are saying, what are you talking about? If I'd have told anybody in California about sandbags a couple of weeks ago, they said, you're out of your mind. You're a conspiracy nut. Now, first aid stuff. Have you thought about this? What kind of first aid do you be? I'm not talking about suturing. I'm talking about stuff for cuts and things like that. But basically, all of this stuff is available. All of this has been put together at levels, and I'm sorry to do this. I'm sorry to blend commercialism with saving your life. Prepare with Lionel's got it. First aid kits, flashlights, batteries. Are you ready to go? What about this? Your home itself. Are they sealed? See, nobody even talks about this. What are they called? Do you have storm shutters? Now in Florida, they believe, and there's a great, what is his name? Is this comic? I know it's not funny, but he always says stuff. He says, he says, tornadoes, he says, what's his name? Jeffers? Anyway, he's a Southern guy. It's very funny. He says, tornadoes can come in maybe 3 minutes. They just pop out of nowhere. And in 3 minutes, they can destroy, and they can you don't know when they're coming. There's always a surprise. He says, but there's never been a surprise hurricane. They tell you when it's coming, here it's coming, weeks in advance, and they say next Tuesday, it's going to be there on Tuesday. And people will, this is interesting, they'll wait. And in Florida in particular, they think plywood is it. Plywood is the fortification that you need. Plywood. I don't know what the hell this is, but hang on a minute. There we go. That was the strangest thing. They believe in plywood. And they always wonder, he says, I've always wondered, he said, when you see the police coming, state troopers, National Guard, ambulances, you think to yourself, they just don't have enough plywood. People are weird about disasters. They don't think, they can't think this way. And you get that. There are people walking around in LA who are saying, I'm a star. I'm a star. I am a millionaire and I've got nothing. Nothing. Do you know where, now I don't know where you are from, but being from the South, hurricanes and tornadoes and your roof. And we always used to argue, do you open the windows? Do you close the windows? Because the roof would just come off. It was you see a little bit of a shingle or something, and it goes. I don't know if it goes in, it goes up. I don't know. There's a pressure differential. I don't know. Storm shutters, things like that. Reinforced glass. This is the wildest stuff. And the roof, can it really handle this stuff? This is another thing too. People nobody ever talks about stuff like that. Gutters and that's so, oh, come on. Gutters. Solar generators. Have you ever seen this one? Like the 3300 solar generator system. Do you have backup? I don't know why they don't have automatically a generator outside that if something goes wrong. A generator. I'm going to tell you something also, which is important. And all this, preparewithlionel.com. Do you have EMP proof bags to safeguard electronics from power surges and electromagnetic pulses? Do you have that? Either artificially done or weaponized or a Carrington class disaster where there's some solar thing that, and you're not going to know what it is. Have you tested backup power systems on a regular basis? No. And don't feel bad. Nobody does. Do you know where to go? Do you know where to go? Do you know how to get out? Where are you going to go? Where are you going to go? What are you going to, where are you going to go? We always talk about them. Mrs. Dell always say, we're going to go to the Hudson River and we're going to paddle to Jersey. I mean, where do you go? Do you have these go bags with essentials, clothing, medication, emergency, documents, and things like that? Can you get to this? If you had to get like deeds and passports, do you have this? Do you have this? I've known people who are regular travelers and they're the best. And they've got this bag. And they just go and they put everything in it and they're gone. They got everything in there. Everything you can imagine. They're just ready to go. If you have things like deeds and forget, I mean, I'm not talking about, pictures, but I mean, just essential stuff. If you were to come back and you say, do you live here? Yeah. How do I know you live here? Well, I just do. Well, how do you know? I mean, nobody walks around with a deed. Nobody have a safety deposit box, things like that. But think about this. Medication is the number one thing. And when you get to be an old person, and luckily, thank God, we're not there yet, but your medication, your pharmacist is your best friend. You see just nothing but pill bottles, and you've seen them with parents and things like that. It's the most incredible thing in the world. All they have are just boxes of pills and ointments and this and that. It's the most evacuation drills. Nobody's going to do that. Nobody. Do you know one of the things which is the most important, and this is so great, and why social media has been so terrific? Weather alerts. Do you have hand crank radios? By the way, everything I'm saying, every item I've said, with the exception of your deed, is available at these disaster people at preparewithlionel.com. That's it. That's all they do to think of it. Have you ever called your insurance broker or agent and said, what am I covered for? Now, you think you know, but you don't. You think you know, but you don't. And don't feel bad. Nobody knows this stuff. Nobody does. Have you ever used when you get a plane ticket or a train or whatever, and they always say travel insurance? Do you want to guarantee this? I remember one time, I forgot what the hell it was, but we said, okay, we'll guarantee it. I forget what the hell it was, or insure it. And I said, the hell with it. Oh no, I had a client, and it was a pretty significant, like a big deal of, it was a very wealthy woman, but she was going on cruises and taking the families, and oh my God, the whole thing was $100,000. Anyway, that was a nightmare. And you would think so all of these things, it is not your job to necessarily think of these things, but I'm just telling you, God, as you would say, gives you little things like, this is a wake-up call, and I want you to pay attention. And I'm telling you right now, I cannot tell you, I've been promoting, and I've been a part of this Prepare with Lionel for a long time. They're the best. And it's disaster. It's just disaster. There's this stuff that, do you know? Let me ask you a question. What happens if they cancel your insurance? What do you do? Do you have a right to insurance? I mean, provided they abide by the rules of the state that you're in, do they have to, must they stay in business, as they say? Linda Hazlitt says, you will own nothing and be happy. Who said that? That was Mr. Schwab. Klaus Schwab. Let me ask you about that. Do you know about that? Do you think this? Do you have a right? Can they just say, do you have a right to insurance? I mean, if they cancel you, let's assume you've paid the premiums, you've done all this stuff. You know what? That's it. What are you going to do? You're going to sue them? Good luck. They've already made their money on the whatever. They're going to say this is some act. Insurance is a weird thing. Acts of providence, force majeure. These are noted, war. There's all these different provisions that are not covered. War, obviously. You can't get insurance in Gaza for homeowners and things like that. It makes sense. What do you do about that? Let me ask you a question. Your house is gone. You still pay the mortgage? You still pay the mortgage? There is a story right now, people are suggesting, of people being called and harassed by people who are banks that are saying, pay the mortgage. You owe us the mortgage. Pay the mortgage. But my house is gone. Pay the mortgage. What are you going to do? Foreclose? We don't want your property. Pay it. Do you suspend it? Is there there's all kinds of, in contract law, there's all kinds of defenses. God. One is impossibility, frustration of purpose. There's all these things that you but you have to end up being done with it. I told you this the other day. There are people showing up and saying, I'll buy your property. Give me a quitclaim deed to whatever you own. Quitclaim deed is merely, it says, I will sell to you everything that I have. My interest, whatever it is, 100% to you. That's it. Quitclaim. You can go to the stationery store and get them online. People will go sometimes, what the hell is this? Are you seeing this? This is the weirdest thing in the world. This is the strangest thing. Have you ever seen this before? Can you see this? Am I blocked to you? Is this me? Can you see me? What the hell is this? Somebody says, yes. Now, I've asked 4 different questions, and they'll say, yes. Okay, hang on. There we go. This is weird tonight. Today's been a weird day. But these are questions that I don't think anybody really understands. So anyway, I told you, so people sometimes will go to, that's why it's good to have that deed. I go in, I forge a quitclaim deed, and I go in and I own your property. And I foreclose, and you say, whoa, wait a minute. You can't do that. That's done all the time. And somebody at the clerk's office goes like this, and good, you're the owner. That's it. You own it in fee simple. You own this thing. And you think to yourself, well, that can't be. Oh, yeah? How about squatters? You think squatters? You think squatters are? Doesn't that make any sense to you? My question is, where's all this law and order that we've got? Where's all this law and order? Where is this? Where are the protections? Where do we go when we're hurt and harmed? And where do we go? It doesn't make any sense. It's the weirdest thing in the world. Listen to me. I want you to understand something. These are really bad times. And I can give you so many reasons for you to be suspect. So many reasons. It depends upon how deep you want to go. And there are people who say, I really don't want to go that deep. I don't want to go that far. I really don't. I'm not interested in going, that I'm not that interested in this. Please, if it's all the same to you, I don't want to go there. I don't want to. It bothers me to think that. Really? Yes. Okay. And if you tell them things, and if I ask myself, I said, and I've asked friends, and I'm starting to see this a little bit. I'm starting to see people kind of, sort of say, and this is important, people will say, they will say things like, well, I never really thought about that. So I asked somebody something. My friends, I said, do you believe Do you believe that the people who are running the show in Los Angeles know what they're doing? Did you hear today? The mayor wasn't there and the governor wasn't there. And there were some other people trying to explain to you about where you can go and what you need to do. And the answer they said was no. I said, do you believe that it is a good idea for you to have DEI in areas of protection, in areas of governmental operation that deal with life-saving, property protection and the like? Do you think that makes sense? Oh, absolutely not. Well, why do you think that is? Why do you think there are people who are pushing for DEI when that big fat lesbian, I'm sorry, it's true. I know you're not, I'm not trying. She was overweight, out of shape, and laughing. What was her name? Larson. She was laughing that, well, if your husband, if I got to carry your husband out, he shouldn't have been there in the first place. This arrogance. So what do you think that is? I said, do you think that these people did not know about this? No. I said, do you think that the level of these winds, hurricane speed, hurricane velocity winds, do you think this is normal? Do you? Do you? Do you understand what it means for these people to be able to say, I want to take care of everything? You've heard about the rednecks, right? Out there, those folks, the billionaires in California that own all the pistachio farms and the walnuts, and they get all the water. You know all about that, right? Okay, because they're the ones that people. But let me ask you something. For reasons that we may or may not understand, there are people who represent this group called, they love the word sustainability. Oh my God, they love it. They love sustainability. It turns them on. They sport a wood. They sport a chub. They sport wood. They actually, they become tumescent over the notion of sustainability. And there are a lot of people who say, oh, I think that's a great idea, so that we are modern. But the real globalists are saying, we know what it is too. And we've confused, or we've obviously lured you into thinking that that's what we're there for. That this is all about making the world a better place. We want to put you into little urban communities, little prisons where you stay there. We don't want you out in the woods, big acres. We're going to move you in. We do not like big gated communities. We do not like somebody on a house with 2 acres, 3 acres. There are places, and depending upon where you are, in beautiful parts of New York, Dutchess County with 100, 200, 300 acres of just nothing. There's no farms. It's just one guy with 300 acres. I wonder, they're going to say, oh, no. There's no reason why you have 300 acres. Yeah, but don't you remember, Dallas? There's no more Dallas. You're not going to do that anymore. You're going to put low-income housing on your property, and we're going to rezone this, and we're going to pass a law that says this is illegal. You can't do this anymore. We can tell you how high you can build, where you can build. It's a new world. And it's not necessarily because it's the communists, but the people really far at the top of the heap are laughing because they've convinced, the fat lesbians and the tree huggers and the leftists and the people with the nose rings and the Obama, you know. And by the way, isn't it, how many times, be honest, how many times have you heard the word lesbian? When was the last time we ever said, or as we say in the South, lesbian? Like Lisbon, Portugal, lesbian. When was the last time you heard this? When? Never heard of it. And I was asking one time, rather curiously, where are the lesbians? Where have all the lesbians gone? Arlen, where? What happened? I don't know. I don't know. They're just not here anymore. It's the damnedest thing. But now they're back. Front and center, and not in a good way. You see, it's interesting. When we would normally have these, and let's be honest, we're an adult now. When you had these really flamboyant, over the top, peacock like gay men with the purple, this, I mean, it was like, what is this all about? And it would kind of scare you. They would scare you with the purple hair and this and this affectation and the speech and the this and the, what are you doing? But lesbians, as we used to call them, and I call them now, don't really bother anybody. They're just they look like, kind of like your Uncle Dave. Some of them, I know there are lipstick lesbians and people who are very, very posh and very, very, you would never know it, as they say. But there are others who look, by virtue of how they are, very masculine, exceedingly, but almost, I don't know what the word is. And I've always wanted to sit down, I swear to God, and say, let me ask you something. What does it mean to you? It seems, sometimes you see it, sometimes you don't. But it seems like you're going through, you appreciate the manly, whatever it is. Would you tell me, and you know the old joke about they drive Subarus, and I don't know where that came from, but there was some comic, I saw her there. But I'd love to ask him, what is it exactly that I know you have short hair, and again, not everybody looks like that, but what is it? You are, I can kind of understand this. I don't see, now listen to me carefully, I don't see the lesbian version of this overt masculine. I don't see somebody go, how are you? Who are you? It's always, they sound normally, they don't say anything, there's no speech affectation, there's no, you're on the phone. You ever talk to somebody and you call them and go, hello, and you're going, I didn't know he was gay. That's the doctor. Call the pharmacy. Yeah, is it CVS? Hello. But if you called up and it was a lesbian, you wouldn't know. There's no out. Maybe the clothing sometimes. So I've always thought I get along. I get along just fine. I get along with everybody, but I don't care. Have you noticed this? Lesbians, I think, get the short end of the stick. I know there's a pun there somewhere, but I have no problem. They don't bother anybody. They just, okay, whatever. But they're not, there's no Monty Rock the Third for that. Hey, yeah, you get like a Paula Poundstone type or an Ellen. Okay. It's normally right. What is it? It's the hair. I don't know why I'm going into this, but I find it fascinating because for the longest time, we never talked about lesbians. Lesbians never existed, but they do now. And I don't think, let me tell you something. When it comes to police work, fantastic. I am telling you right now, I don't know about fire, but I don't know about what they got to do. Women cops, then every now and then, listen, there's somebody who's, who can outrun them. Listen, they can outrun most of us. But look at this. Now, lesbian, I even told you this, and I'm not sure if this is a good thing, but the word retard is back. I didn't even know. It's like it's a reset. You've got Zuckerberg, and Zuckerberg is going now. He's kissing Trump's ass, and he's on Joe Rogan crying like a little baby, and they yelled at me. What? They yelled at me. You say, what a wimp. See, Zuckerberg's always the kind of guy who says, yeah, I'm doing jujitsu. It's like, are you doing that shit again? Is that what you think it is? Is that what you think? What, being a man? Is that it? I mean, not being a man, but I mean, is this the tough guy part of you? Is that it? Why are you doing this? I swear to you, as long as I live, I will never understand. I don't want to go on a mat barefoot and have somebody stick their leg in my crotch or in my ass or I'm like this. I'm not interested in this. By the way, here is the Zuckerberg piece I did. I've never understood this. I don't even know why I'm talking about this, but I got to tell you this. Because we're getting into this identity about what's a man and what's not. And sometimes I love this. It's like some people are really good at, boxing, and boxing is an incredible sport just in terms of, my God, the cardiovascular is incredible. But other people, have you ever noticed people say, you really want to go out and get, you're doing this to prove something, to be a tough guy. You want to be a tough guy. I've known gun people who were the same way. Do you see where I'm going? Let me stop right there. Do you understand why I am so happy to be talking about this? Do you get it? Do you understand why? The reason why is because I have never seen so much to this. The most expensive house, the $125 million mansion from the hit TV series, I think it was Succession, whatever, destroyed. The Palisades estate had 18 beds, rented for $450,000 a month. It was owned by this guy, Austin Russell, gone. It's incredible. Newsom responds to the public's anger over state response. He's through, he's done, he's finished. Like a war zone, 6 Californians describe terrifying moments. T.J. Holmes, Amy Robach defend David Muir after he's bashed for reporting on L.A. wildfires with a pin jacket. I know you don't care about this. T.J. Holmes and Amy Robach are dying for you to notice. They're doing everything in their power. Just going through the headlines. They will do everything. Nobody cares what she says. Nobody. Look at this from the New York Post. Catastrophic wildfires left LA in ashes due to California's failing liberal leadership. Sort of. Family Matters exclusive. Lara Trump reveals why women should trust Donald Trump and who she thinks U.S. first female president will be. And there she is with her red. Did you see this? I want to puke. I don't want to get into that. Mr. President, we got to reel her in, Mr. President. I know you don't want to hear this, but you're going to hear it from me. Now, had a very interesting talk this morning. Somebody said that President Trump should not be going to California. Do you agree he should? Do you agree he should? Ladies and gentlemen. Pilgrim Media's Mr. L, we call them carpetbaggers. Linda Haslett says, I really want to know. Go deep, please. Klaus Schwab said, you will own nothing and be happy. World Economic Forum. The mayor of LA turned down FDNY offer of help, and JetBlue was paying for the cost of flying the FDNY out to LA. They don't want to fix this. George Keane says, you agree with Dean Cain that the fires will change how LA votes? Yes. Let me go back and ask you this Bass. She's a Marxist. She hates this country. Not the country, but I mean, she hates the system. This is her thing. Listen, I'm not one of these types who calls everybody a socialist. I'm really not. But I really have had a hard time with I know more. I told you, I know 2 Marxists. I think one's a commie, but won't release it. And I asked him, I said, what do you want? Well, capitalism it's cruel. And one time he said, and I'll never forget this. He said, Do you think it's fair that the people who make, remember, they always say this, people who make the burgers, they don't have a piece of the company. It's their labor that makes the burgers. I mean, I swear to God, I've heard this. Don't you think they should own part of the company? No. Okay, so this bastard pays all the money, all the insurance, did all this stuff in the invest, and if you don't want to, I'll take care of it. Let me ask you a question. I know we're changing the subject, but let me ask you a question. You've got two people you can work. Okay, you've got a job. Two people, they're good. An American that wants to be paid $10 an hour, and somebody from Venezuela, good person, legal, somebody with a H-1B visa, who work for $5. Who would you pick? Answer my question. $10 American, and I'm not even going to go through with, are they going to show up? Are they going to quit? Whatever. $10 American or $5 Venezuelan? Who would you pick? Be honest. Be honest. You're going to pay twice as much for the American. Twice as much. You got one guy who work his ass off, and he'll say, I'll work for $5. No. I want to work for I'm going to pay the American. Why? Because I'm not asking you to pay for the Venezuelan. Any Americans want to work for, I'll tell you what, any Americans want to work for $5, I'll pay you first. If we have two people who say, okay, fine. If I have an American versus a Venezuelan, same price, I'll go for an American. Do you mean to tell me that you're not going to? See, Vivek Ramaswamy, I don't know where he went, but he was here for a while. And let me ask you, where's Elon Musk? Have you noticed Elon? Where is he? Is he quiet? He was here the other day. He was everywhere, walking around with that kid on his neck, and now he's gone. And Vivek, where's he? Where's JD? I don't understand. What's going on? Where are the swaths of liberal Hollywood types coming in to help those individuals who need their help? Where are they? Where are they? What's going on? I don't understand. Aren't you going to put on a concert or something? Where's Barbara Streisand? Helping people. We're going to build back. These are your people. This is your home. See, I keep asking questions. I don't understand any of this. It's like they're so quiet. This is their home. This is the epicenter. And by the way, Monday, they're not done yet. They're going up to Brentwood. The fire's like over here, and then they know where they're going. That sound weird or what? That sound interesting? What's going on here? I would own this. If I were President Trump, I would own this. I told you something the other day. I said this, and if you remember me saying this was this was after 2016, and certainly before 2020. If I were the president, I would tell Dan Scavino or Margot Martin, whoever it is, I say, okay, I want to talk. Bring us in. Mar-a-Lago, we got a room. And either on Truth Social, whatever it is. And I want to say, I'm here for you. We're going to give you a special number, an email. I know I'm not involved, and I'm going to let the current administration do whatever they're supposed to be doing, but I want you to understand that it's important for me to lay the groundwork now. It's important for me to lay the groundwork now for me to be a part of this. And consequently, I want you to know I'm with you. And he's got to do a video where he speaks, just like Elon Musk does it, or by the way, Alex Jones, he looks fantastic. I think he stopped drinking. He's lost weight. I don't know if it's Ozempic, but he looks terrific. And I think, I don't know what the reason was. I have no idea. I'm not watching it that assiduously, but I think it's always better. I think it's better if you don't drink. I'm not doing this or saying this from a moral point of view, but I'm telling you from a health point of view and from a psychological point of view, you are so better off if you don't drink. You really, nobody, I don't know anybody who's ever stopped drinking says, you know what? I hate always having my shit together. I hate always never having to worry about a DUI again, or never making a fool out of myself, or never just feeling kind of crummy, or never. Now, granted, there are people out there who can say, ooh, a little glass of wine, that's fine. Good for you. I don't think that counts. But you're going to find out, people are going to find out that most people, there are more alcoholics than you. I mean, I shouldn't say that. Big drinkers have a drink. More people than you could ever figure out. Because remember, the number one characteristic of alcoholism is hiding it. You hide it. Are you drinking? No. You got to hide the bottles, and you got to hide. Where are you going? You drinking again? What time is it? You always have somebody who's always asking you. So you always got to lie. You got to lie. And you come up with these things like, well, it's 5 o'clock somewhere. I think that's the Alan Jackson song or Jimmy Buffett song. No, anyway. So Alex Jones, I think, is fantastic. He is at the top of his game. This is a great reset, ladies and gentlemen. It's the great reset. It's one of these things that's going to be absolutely the most incredible thing you've ever seen. George Keane, Mr. Mean Machine, says DJT should go to Los Angeles. Will drive the left nuts, but North Carolina first. I believe so. He should have contingents. He should have, if Laura Trump wants to do something, rather than walk around Mar-a-Lago in her red dress, because she wants to be sexy, good. Get your ass, go to North Carolina and be sexy, wearing jeans and some kind of a denim jacket, and help these people. I got to tell you something. There's two people. I'm prejudiced. Okay? Two people. Two types of people. And I'm going to say it. And I'm sorry to say this, but I'm going to say it. Two kinds of people I do not like right off the bat. Number one, comics. Comedians, comics, people who work in clubs, people who sit around, comics, talking. I despise them. I've never seen so many people deluded by this belief that somehow everything they say is magically not only funny, but rip-roaringly, uproariously brilliant. I've never seen this. Comics, loathe them, despise them. Weirdest people, comedy is done. Okay? It's like, the people who used to have like they would have the wine glasses and they would wet their finger, they would play songs. That's over with. That's what comedy is. And number two, the people that I want to scream, I want to take them and put them into a home, are people who constantly are living under the delusion, or who think it's important to be sexy and hot. I lose my mind. I lose my mind. So that notwithstanding. Now, my friends, we talked about something before, which is the most important thing, and that is the notion of the globalist thing. And I hope you've given this some thought. I was watching somebody the other day, a whistleblower, who was talking about directed energy weapons at the South Pole, and he never told us how they work. He just said, I'm somebody and I know what's going on. And the subject of directed energy weapons, I said, would you please tell me how they work? Let's crank one up, shall we? Let's say we're going to fly over to Cincinnati. Can we burn some stuff up there? Yeah. Can you crank up the directed energy weapon? Can you show me how this thing works? Where do we go? Is it suborbital? What do we do? Let's say I want to get the Hendersonville area. Just made that up. of Cincinnati. Can you do that? Sure. And can you make sure that I'm going to give you, here's the map. Can I give you targets, houses that you should burn up and let the surrounding areas, I can do it in reverse. Or I want to burn the area around the house, leave the house. Can I give you this list? Absolutely. How long will this take? Oh, immediately. Is there anything we should be looking for? No. Where is the energy weapon coming from? From the sky, from the suborbit, from space? I'd rather not say. Can you do that? Yeah. And what happens? You send this laser, or you send electromagnetic ray, or what do you do exactly? What is it? A sound pulse? And somehow this house bursts into flames? Is that it? Is that how that works? If I send a laser at something, it normally goes like right through it. Why is it? Because we always think it's a laser. How does this work? Has anybody explained this to you? No. And there's a good reason for that. There's a good reason why they haven't told you. There's a real good reason. You ever think about that? You ever wonder why don't we know anything about this? Well, let's talk about this. But first, speaking of destruction, listen to this. New reports reveal that the average person has $8,674 in credit card debt. Plus, the total average consumer debt is a shocking $104,215 between mortgages, auto loans, student loans, credit cards, and unsecured loans. Unfortunately, without outside assistance, many will continue digging themselves deeper and deeper into the hole of debt. Now, I've advised and counseled friends and clients for years who want to take back control of individual debt about this secret weapon that has helped so many consolidate everything owed into one affordable monthly payment. They even helped negotiate a settlement agreement that will allow you to pay less than the total balance. Listen, they settled over $275 million in debt, and they've helped people become debt-free in an average of 28 months. I've had such an incredible experience referring clients and friends that I wanted to partner with them here and introduce their services to you, my loyal Lionel Nation family. If you want a helping hand to get out of debt, I absolutely, positively, and strenuously recommend booking a free consultation now by going to nodebtwithlionel.com. Look at the address. Once again, that's nodebtwithlionel.com. Use the link I've provided under the title. Listen to me. You can take control and learn how to get out of debt now. I really want to know this. Let me ask you a question to see how much you know about this. What is the color that you either paint your house, or what is the color of the tarp or the covering that you put on across your roof? What is the color? What is it? Wendy says blue. Cindy says blue. Blue, right? Blue. Have you heard this? Blue. You put blue and it works. What does the blue do? Remember Blue's Clues? What does the blue do? Do you mean to tell me blue reflects the wavelength? Really? Blue reflects a laser? A laser. The laser says, oh, blue, and it just bounces off. It doesn't. Is that it? Now, I don't know this. You're telling me that something that is so powerful, and assume I say, okay, do me a favor. Let's put this Lionel mug available. It's that potus thing. Christmas is just around the corner. And I put this here. I said, okay, fire a laser at it. Can you get that one? Yeah. It's a laser, microwave, something. Okay, ready? What happens to it? Is it catch on fire? Or does a hole go through it? Or what happens? And you think I'm kidding, right? You think I'm being a jerk. I'm not. On a certain day, on the 11th day of the 9th month, 23 years ago, I was here in New York. And I asked questions. And I'm doing the same thing I'm doing now. And I said, let me ask you a question. Let's assume that I were to take a jug, and I filled it up with kerosene. Okay? If I were to do that, okay? And I were to, do you know that the fuel that is used for certain jets is a type of a kerosene that's used in turbine powered. It's also known as aviation turbine fuel. Okay, but it's like a kerosene kind of thing. Okay, so I said, let me ask you a question, because this is my way of thinking. I'm just asking. I'm just asking a question. Don't get upset. People get upset with me all the time. Why are you asking that? I said, I want to know. And you know a lot about this, and I don't know anything, and I want to learn from your genius. And I used to ask these questions. I said, let me explain something. I said, do you know what would happen if I were to take a jug, like a milk jug, 2-gallon jug or whatever it is, and I filled it with this stuff, and I somehow, I don't know, lit it, ignited it, did whatever, and I threw it into a whatever. What do you think happens to it? What do you think happens to it? It goes like that. Pow! And it's like it kind of burns up, but it'll catch stuff. You know what I mean? It'll catch stuff on fire, but it burns up. If I take a Molotov cocktail and I throw it, and it breaks up, the stuff it burns up, but it catches things on fire. That's the whole point. But it doesn't seep like lava, you know? It doesn't hang around for an hour. It doesn't seep down the crevices of walls and, elevator shafts. No, it burns up. But it'll catch things on fire. You know what I'm saying? It just blows up. It doesn't hang around. It goes. If it's just boom, it blows up and that's it. So I asked people, I said, how is it that based upon that one and the whatever that you're going to have, and I went through the whole thing, and people got very upset. Why are you asking that question? I said, because I want to know this stuff. Why can't I ask this question? So I'm asking friends of mine now, the same incredulity, the same creativity, the same thinking. I'm asking people, could you explain this blue stuff to me? And how does this work? Well, and people will make things up. Remember one thing about humans. They make stuff up. They will just look you in the eye and just make up stuff. And they don't know what the hell they're talking about. But they will make it, they will change the way reality works to fit them. It's just that, I don't care what it is, if it's about God or UFOs or drones or whatever. And I used to say, take about the drones. So, okay, I say, the drones, what are the drones doing? And so what are you so upset about the drones for? Oh, these drones. Are they doing anything? God damn it, these drones are crazy. What are they doing? I don't know. Are they sending like rays, and are they turning on lights, and looking in your home? I don't know. They're out at night. You know, well, what are they doing? I don't know, but something's going on. Okay, all right. But what's the problem? Okay, I know it's scary, but what's the problem? What do you mean, what's the problem? It's China. It's they're looking for stuff. At night? Yeah, but and nobody could tell me what the hell I don't understand it. Okay, so what? I am a very simple person. When I was in college, like 19, I worked at a suicide and crisis center. This is true. And when most of it was just crisis. And one woman called up, and I was 19, so I didn't know anything. One woman called up, and she said, I said, oh my God. What's the matter? It was my kid. This kid apparently was getting his, remember in the old days, you know, you have Pampers now, but there used to be a time when people had like diaper services that Pampers were not as, yeah, they were okay. But anyway, I don't know what happened. That kid gets in there, opens the pins, and I said, keeps getting, and does like a Bobby Sands, you know, at the Maze prison, you know, the dirty, whatever. I said, oh my God, it's terrible. I don't know what to do. I said, this may sound crazy. I know, I don't know. Listen, you're a mother. I don't know anything about this. Why don't you pin it in, they had pins. So why don't you pin it in the back so he can't get to it? She called back, thank you. I thought, okay. See, I like to just think about things and just ask a very simple question. Maybe I'm missing something. I don't know what the big deal is. So with this, I want to know. So if I can't figure out, I do know there definitely is a reason, an incentive for these people to have these areas cleaned out. Because they're telling you, the globalists, they will point to things at the UN level, at the, name it, Bilderberg level, at the Davos level, a World Economic Forum. They tell you flat out, here's our plan. We want to go totally self-sustainable, whatever, by the year 20, and they give it a number. They will actually do war games. Remember, on the 11th day of the 9th month, 23 years ago or so, they had about 50 war games, 20, on the day of this horrible event. Let me say that again. Isn't that coincidental that on that day, they're happening, look it up, Noble Guardian, Vigilant Guardian, all these names, so that if all of a sudden you said, hey, and by the way, they were all hijacking, a lot of them were hijacking, remember, you don't think that means something? Ladies and gentlemen, Goldeye says something. Thank you. Goldeye's become a new member. I appreciate that immensely. I appreciate that. Thank you. So I just don't. What are we doing with it? Is Elon? Why isn't Elon just owning this? Forget Starlink. This is the chance. When all eyes are on you, Mr. President, go there. Get there now. Just be there. I don't understand. I don't understand. What are we doing? What are we talking about this one? And we're just sitting back and we're watching this. Oh, this is terrible. Well, this one. And anybody wonder, how did James Woods, I'm so glad his house is saved. Wasn't it funny when they said, somebody told me, said, you mean he was wrong? Yeah, his house wasn't burned. It wasn't? No. Well, why did he think it was? I don't know. He did. And Spielberg's house, I heard this. I don't know if you heard this. Spielberg's house wasn't burned. Tom Hanks's wasn't. I said, but other people's houses didn't burn either. Uh-huh. Are you noticing this? Uh-huh. Yeah. There's just, do me a favor. I want you never to lose your incredulity. I want you to say, it doesn't make any sense. That's the strangest thing in the world. Why would he do that? That's all. Have you also noticed how how lip readers are now the biggest thing in the world? Whenever you have, remember they had Trump and Obama talking, and they said, We're going to talk to a lip reader. I mean, I don't know about this. I have something on the X. It's a lip reader. It's a signer for porn. It's one of the funniest things. There is some stuff on X, as it were, that is so brilliant. I cannot possibly say it enough. Fantomas Fanto says Zur laser is the number one defense system. Zur for the USA. Okay. All righty. And that means what? What exactly? Zur laser is a laser technique that can create openings in the trabecular meshwork. A strong laser beam can make these openings, but the exposure time must be short to avoid thermal reactors in nearby tissues. Okay. You can use lasers for laser treatment for the eyes, laser eye surgery. Contura LASIK is good. It's called TCAT topography. Custom ablation treatment. Okay, and your point is what exactly? What am I supposed to do with this knowledge, which I thank you for immensely? What are we supposed to do with that knowledge? What am I supposed to do with it? What? What does that mean? What? Tell me. Somebody fill me in. For the love of God, fill me in. What am I supposed to do with that? And therefore, what? Therefore, what? What does this mean? We'll never know. All right. That's it, my friend. I've been with you this whole eve. Tell me you are subscribed to the newsletter. I did one today. Let me show you what you're missing. The one today that went out with, it was great. This is ABC Disaster, Laughingstock Muir, George's Libel, and Sonny Hostin's Crook Dr. Hubby. I'm sorry, I love this. One of the biggest civil RICO cases there is. Some scary alternative LA fire theories you'll never hear on Fox. WTF just happened in the Trump New York sentencing. Talk about that. LAFD, DEI, heartless quota ghoul. If I can't carry you out of a burning building, it's your fault. DEI is DEAD. California burns as incompetent LGBTQ plus hire screams diversity. Remember her name, Ashley Babbitt? And it goes down the list. It is, don't think of it as a newsletter. It's more of a, dare I say, it's just a news. So I have a link for that for you. Two things. Thank you so much for your being a part of this. Thank you very much, by the way, for also, and this is critical, thank you for following Mrs. L at Lynn's Warriors. That means so much to us. Remember, it's just, 8 days until her birthday. And thank you for following Lionel Nation. It means everything. I don't want to be one of these people that begs you. There's something, unlike you. I like when they start up a show. I'll see a brand new, YouTube channel. Oh, this is nice. If you like this, please like this. You haven't said anything yet. If you like this, please like this, subscribe and like this. Send us money, give us money, PayPal, Schmaypal, Filipino Krugerrands, please help us, buy us coffee, give us money, give us Bitcoin. It's like you haven't said anything. I might get, what am I? I don't want to do that. I don't want to be that way. But it's critical because the only thing that matters to these people are the metrics. In any event, dear friends, have a great and a glorious day. Thank you so much for being with us and being so much a part of this. You were terrific. Have a great and a glorious day. If for whatever reason you have or know somebody in the California area and you pray, do so accordingly. If not, accept my thoughts, my sincere horror, my positive energy. That's a laser that's going out to those as well. All right, dear friends. Oh, I forgot to say, excuse me. So very rude. Fanta, thank you. Gold Eye, George Keene, thank you. Johnny Maz, the Spaz, Linda Hazlitt, Pilgrim Media, And Karen Peterson, thank you so much. We'll see you tomorrow in the usual time in the morning, 9 o'clock. And until then, remember, my friends, monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue ya. Dead.